Look, black and blue lives. Yeah. That's a new vibe. Black and blue lives. That's a new vibe.
How do you agree so like when you see those property like this?
Yeah. What is up, everybody? It is, what's today's date? It is August the 11th. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock, so you already know what it is. I am Prince Blue. That is my man, Jay Steppe. And this is the Black and Blue Live show where we talk about mental health, first responders, police and community, ice cream, everything in between. But this week, one of us is shooting. One of us was a trooper and really toughed it out and went to sunny Florida to do a live show from Florida. And if you could take a look at it, one of us is not in a hotel room, so it's definitely going to be Jay Steppe. Jay, why'd you leave me again? It's the second time you left me.
I know, man. Like I said, I sold the BBV, so it's sold. I got another one on order, so hopefully in 10, 12 weeks it'll get here. Been wrestling the alligators and diving with sharks and all that cool stuff. Went down, flew into Miami, stayed the night in Miami, went down to the Keys, did some snorkeling in Key West, and then came back this evening, went through the Everglades, tried to find some gators, and then Marco Island, took a little excursion there, and then up Naples Beach. And so I was able to get in just in time, get a room. Of course, the key wouldn't work, so had to try for like 30 minutes trying to get the key to work back and forth. So, but I was able to make it as promised. So I'm here live on location and on time.
That's right. So, but as everybody does know, there is, I think, what is it? Hurricane Fred. What's the weather looking like right now?
Well, it was. I worked it out, so we were right behind the weather. So the weather moved up, so we were right behind the thunderstorms coming up the West Coast. I don't know if that's part of the hurricane. I didn't know there was a hurricane coming to like yesterday. Somebody was telling me. So, but the weather now, it's clear. It was thundering and raining pretty hard earlier, but we were right behind that front. So hopefully we're good. Tomorrow we go back to Miami tomorrow and fly out about 4 o'clock. So we should be
awesome. Awesome.
Good.
Awesome.
It's just me and Junior. As you see, he's over there in the bed, I think. He's awake. He's tapped out. So
it's only 8:10. How is he tapped out? I'm pretty sure. I don't think Florida goes out a different time zone.
He can't hang, man. All that sun and snorkeling and all kinds of cool stuff. So
that's awesome, man. And today's show was named Off the Cuff because it's perfect because you and your son took a as your lovely wife Aunt Steph says, took a male bonding trip, and that goes into perfectly to part of self-care and getting out and about and just getting away from things and regrouping, recalibrating, whatever it is you want to call it. And with your PTSD diagnosis and my bipolar PTSD and major depressive diagnosis, self-care is very important. It's very important sometimes to get out our own heads and get away, and that goes along with first responders, medic, fire, everything, because the day-to-day grind, we get so caught up in doing the shit that nobody else wants to do. We end up normalizing that. Like, we can't function unless we're dysfunctional. So talk about that, Jay. Talk about, now being retired, me being retired, but talk about now how the self-care is different now being retired versus when you were in the shit.
Well, absolutely. So I encourage people, man, take time off. The city gives you time. and take it. If it's sick time, if your sergeant won't give you time off because the shortage, call out sick. That's what do it. I mean, but
We all
that
do it.
time,
Like, stop it.
yeah,
Stop it.
that time's yours. You have to get away from the job. If you're a police, fire, medic, nurse, whatever job you do. I don't care if you're a janitor in a school. You have to separate yourself. I can't tell you how many vacations that I missed. Going to Germany, or that I've missed out on a few times, or Mexico. Friends and family trips. Uh, you know that you have to work. Sometimes it's mandatory. Sometimes I remember when I got married, uh, I just took the weekend off. I got married like on a Saturday, long time ago, and then I think I was supposed to work on Wednesday, and so I took Sunday, Monday, and had to be back to work on Wednesday. I didn't want to take time off, and ultimately, it's not healthy to stay in that environment. And a lot of times, even when I was younger, it was, hey, I got to get off to it. You get addicted to the grind, man, and you can't leave the shift short. You feel like you're responsible, or I've got a trip coming up, or I want to buy a car, and you're just grinding that off duty, and you just get in that habit of working, and it's like a hamster on a wheel. It's just hard to get off, but you have to make yourself get off. Take some time for yourself. Take some time for your family. Uh, Being retired, it's night and day. Being on vacation is a lot more relaxing, knowing that I don't have to go back to the shit show and jump back on the hamster wheel. Because I'm done, and so I could enjoy the time with my son, who's 17, and
About to
not
go to
have to.
college.
You about to go to college. So the biggest stress I have right now is having to catch my flight tomorrow. So I don't have to worry about. You know well as me. Once the vacation, you're working the job. The vacation's about over. You start thinking about work. Shit, I got to go to work. Got to get my uniform ready. I've got training day, and I got court Tuesday. I've got. It's you just got, and that shit stresses you out. You never can separate. Some people can. I never had the ability to just separate where I could just totally align on vacation. It was I was irritable or couldn't relax. Now I'm like, it's like whatever, man. I'm having a great time.
You know what's funny though, Jay? Like, people say, use sick time, don't abuse sick time, all that stuff. But my thing is this: isn't isn't mental health, like, with our diagnosis, isn't that a sickness? Isn't that an illness? So I'm
Yeah,
rationalizing in my head. Sometimes has it how it's been like they'll say, we will never tell you to call out sick, but they'll also say we're looking long and hard if somebody calls out sick.
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
like, okay, so if I'm like just mentally, like I'm just like, if I go out here, the first person I run into that disrespect me, I'm gonna fuck them up. So if we take a mental health day, why is that any different than if you call out cold, call out with COVID, call out flu, call out with whatever it is?
yeah.
Like, I'm wondering if it would make sense to have mental health days versus sick days, or they're all under the same umbrella, because we've all been there where you have some shitty supervisors or some shitty policies where they're like, they're not supposed to, but they be like, well, what's wrong with you? Or what's going on? And it's like, none of your business. Like, I just
Yeah,
told you
and
I
it's
just want
not.
to take a sick day.
It's not a business, but we both had supervisors that and how many times do you go to work sick, right? Because you don't want to call it that. You might have a supervisor who's like, well, we're try to guilt you, or you can't call him, or gives you, or starts yelling at you, or makes you feel bad. And you're like, shit, I really don't want to call this guy. I'm just gonna go in and suck it up, and you're miserable, and you could get hurt. You
You
could
affect the
people hurt
rest
you.
of the shift.
Yeah, and
Because
you
we
made a great
all
point about the
know.
mental
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
about the mental health days is absolutely. And the problem is with PTSD, uh, especially with the department we came from, they've treated me like I have, like a weakness or, the shit. And anyone that knows me or you, either one knows that, we were in the shit all the time. We shootings and I mean, we were just totally in stuff all the time. And you need to get away from that, man. You can't be in a job where you're hyper vigilant, 10 hours a day after day after day after day for years and years and years. And sometimes you don't get a day off. Sometimes, then, you work 4 10s. If you're lucky enough to be on 10s, then you're one of your first day off, you have court. So you can't do anything in the morning. You got to be at 1 a.m., 1 o'clock court. You got to get your uniform on, do that. That messes you up your whole day. And then the next day you have a training day. So you go in for 8 hours to do training. You don't have a day off. And then if you're on third shift, forget about it because you're sleeping. Your first day off, you're sleeping all day just trying to catch is so you're miserable. So you have to take that time. Now, I'll tell my guys a lot. I don't know. I can't think of a time that I didn't approve a vacation day. I would get creative. Hey, well, switch days with somebody and I would try to make it work. And worst case scenario, I tell them, hey, if it's important enough, like where it's a family matter or you have to do it, just call in sick. I mean, it's your time. Take it. It's not worth having something important to do and causing drama at home or more stress in your life that we're already faced with to not have a day off. Take care of your people.
It is, and you're right about that because it's so weird. It's like that's why it was another thing that brought morale down. Well, locally with our department was everybody loved 410s. Like they were the best because if you work in 5/8s, that first day you have off, you're sleeping, and then before you know it, you get that one day, and then you're back on the grind again. So those 410s were great, but then what happened was they was complaining about manpower, and certain divisions had it, certain divisions didn't have it. Then it was just a whole bunch of shit, man, and it's like. I don't understand how y'all cannot understand that police, fire, medic, more than anything, they need those days. Every mental break counts, man. And the worst thing is you don't want officers to be having a mental break while working. And that's happened when you're like, you know what? I'm just
Oh
gonna
yeah.
go fucking work and I ain't doing shit.
Mm-hmm. And
How's
and
that
so
helping?
and I've been there, and and you think about it, the negative effect it has on your people you're working with or the people you're dealing with. On top of that, you're going to give them 100%. Are you going to overreact because you're pissed? I've been working days and maybe having issues at home or stressed out about something and just overworked. I mean, there are times on the riots. I think overtime in last June. When we had the riots, we were doing, and especially in 16 or the DNCR, we were at, 160 hours a week. I mean, we were working, 16-hour days. I mean, it was getting critical in a time period, so in 2 weeks. But it was crazy. And then sometimes you're ready to kill somebody, man. I was ready to choke slam. Sometimes I'm like, if one more person mouths off to me, I'm gonna choke slam him. Which that's not a good mentality to have when you
Nope.
when you're dealing with people that are aggressive, or mouthy or whatever, and you see it, and officers get criticized. You see officers snap or just go off on somebody like cursing or something, and they just get, they get fired. They get, social media goes crazy. This guy should be a cop. He's out of control. He's, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of times you see it. Sometimes it's just totally like, this guy's just, something's wrong with this guy. They should have done better in the background. Other times like, I get it, man. I see this cop, and he's just going off, and he's fucking had it. He probably had PTSD from all the shit he's dealt with. His like mine. Right before I retired, my patience was zero. I had zero patience. I could deal with you, and if you gave me a lip or something, I didn't have any room for you, and that's when it
I
becomes
wish
a lot.
I was gonna say, I wish I had that video where a cop was trying to pull over somebody, and a cop was blocking him. I mean, not a cop, a citizen was like blocking him and like asking him like, "Why are you trying to pull this guy over?" And the cop missed this opportunity to pull him over. So he pulled that guy over and he went off on him for like 10 minutes. It's like an epic 3 video where he's like going off on the guy and he's clearly like he was at his wit's end. He's lost it. And you had some people saying, well, good for him because that citizen had no business interfering with his business. Then you had other people saying he should have been professional, that he should have he should not have done that. But I'm like, that guy has had it. That is not a constant thing where that guy is always like that. You can see he clearly just lost his shit.
Yeah.
And
Oh
that's
yeah, it's
how
the
it
one.
happens.
It's a guy that somebody flipped him off or whatever, and it was that cop. Oh yeah, was it? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I saw that one. Yeah, that's a perfect example of him just an officer just fucking had enough. He was like,
Just
why do
lost
it? Like, just leave me the fuck alone. Like, let me do my fucking job. I mean, how many times you want to say that? Leave me alone. You don't know what I'm doing. You don't know who this is. Leave me alone. Let me do my job. And shut the,
He could be a serial child molester, rapist, murderer. And
yeah,
you're
it doesn't
over
matter.
here trying to virtue signal, trying to tell me what to do. And I'm like, dude, this is a felony stop. This guy is dangerous. He probably was on his way to your house to slit your throat and kill everybody in there. And you're sitting here arguing with me. It's just so
Mm-hmm.
funny. Like, it's the community has gotten so comfortable at interfering. Like, you're even seeing videos now where people are actually putting hands on officers that's putting hands on somebody else. It's
Oh my
like
God.
totally crazy. It's like, and you think these officers are not going to lose their shit when they doing something as simple as, "Hey, sir, how you doing? I noticed you was speeding," and you're going off on them, and they're like, "You know what? Well, fuck you." Blah blah blah. Like, it's just it's a boiling point, and with mental health and any mental issue and anytime you're holding stuff in and you're not able to release it, it's like anything else. Somebody gonna get it. So it's a matter of, are you that lucky person that day at that moment? And do you want to be that person? And I think some people want to, because there's no other way for you to be constantly trying to look for issues, especially with police. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
And what people don't understand, not only us, if you're in uniform, the medics, the stuff they have to put up with, I mean, how many times have we called them like assist medic, or we got some guy that's just, drunk as hell, and Chili Willie, or one of the, which is no, he's passed away, imagine that, but who's just a pain in the ass, and 3-4 times a day we're dealing with a person that picks them up, 1,000 times, and they stink, they peed and pooped themselves, they're yelling out, they're yelling and cursing at them, and you just have to deal with them all the time. You feel bad. A lot of times, we have to call them, but they get yelled at, fire gets yelled at, they get treated badly just like we do. And it's a
Fire
snowball
don't get
effect. So a
yelled
lot of
at.
times when you see the video of an officer blowing up and he overreacted. That's not, and like you said, it's a snowball effect. It's that's been coming for years and years. That he's just had enough, and it's a 20, 30 calls a day over a period of time, being talked back to, yelled at, second guessed, admins suck, politicians suck. Everybody hates us, and then finally you're just like, you've had enough.
We've
I
all
mean,
been
I
there,
can't blame.
man.
Yeah, we so it, but you can't win anymore, man. And then unfortunately, change the subject for a second. It's hard to keep up with officers getting shot and killed. The 2 got shot, and the 1 female passed away. He got shot in the head on a traffic stop in Chicago. There was another one that night, I think, in Washington State. And I mean, it seems like multiple times a day I'm getting alerts on my phone for the Officer Down Memorial page with officers getting killed. And then so you add that stress with everything else. You have to look after your mental health, and you can't wait. If you wait till you're ready to blow up and choke slam somebody, then you waited too long.
Perfect is another perfect example. Step. How many times has this been us? We're on the computer, we're checking email. Uh, so and so has retired. Come to their dinner. Wish them a goodbye. Blah 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 blah. It's August 11th right now, and then we check in November. The same officer so and so has passed away from a heart attack, and you're like they
It's
just
happened.
left. It, like,
Yeah.
what happened? Dying at their mailbox, dying in their sleep, and you're like dying of cancer. All the stuff that had all the stress, all the ulcers, everything holding it in, just the job, the job, the job, the job, the job, the job. And then finally, when they're able to retire and live their life, they can't because now they got cancer. They got other issues that they kept putting on the back burner because of the job. And they're passing away. And you're like, so this is what I have to look forward to doing my 30 years, getting out and
30, 30 years
waiting
is
to 30
way
years.
too long. And the problem is, and that was a perfect point, is it's not only your mental health, it's your physical health. How many officers, I want to say instead of do you not know that after 5+ years that they have back problems? My little brother, I
Knee
think he's
problems.
yeah, he's a cop and had back surgery due to the job, knee problems, knee back. So it's just not, but
Ankle.
you take,
It's all of
but
it.
it, but and there's not any officer who's been on who works that is not affected mentally with stuff, good, bad, and different. Stress, because email then you take a vacation, you're off 3 days, and you come back, and if you're a detective, then your case log went up. If you're an officer, you go and check your email. Well, now you got 700 emails to shift through, and so it's a
Or
constant. Yeah.
or if you're a detective, like, are you really leaving cases at work? Let's be
No.
honest. Like,
Are you getting
if
calls?
you just left a really bad murder, like, are you really able to turn it off?
No, and I was, I stayed plugged in, which over when I was over street crimes, my last few years, it's because if I wasn't at work, one of the shift sergeants would listen out for my guys. But my guys were allowed to supervise. I trust them; they're gonna do the right thing. But if something happens, man, somebody every time I took a damn vacation, they're getting a chase or use of force, and then I'm like, fuck, man, I missed out. That I feel like I'm getting a call and, hey, Sergeant, let you know, because I told him, I said, if something happens, call mass first before if possible, unless it's something just crazy, before you call the sergeant. I mean, you might need some help articulating a couple things before you call sergeants and tell them what happened. But call me first.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know. Keep me in the loop, and that was so I could take care of my guys. But it keeps you plugged in, man. And I could tell you, my last trip to Florida that I took a month ago, when I came down here, just by myself was just amazing. But I dropped my phone while I was wrestling an alligator in the ocean, and show slabs. Is there a delay? You listen? I wasn't
No,
right. Okay. So
no,
yeah.
you're fine.
So
It's just the fact that
yeah.
you dropped your phone in the water. Like,
While I was wrestling with an alligator or swimming with the sharks, I forget
I
which
don't
one I was
care
doing.
what
But
you say, Steve Irwin, you still dropped your damn phone in the water.
so it didn't go over well. So for like 3 days on my trip, and another 2 or 3 days when I got home, I didn't have uh, a phone, and which was bad, but it was kind of nice too. It was the first time in recent memory that my phone wasn't blowing up. You know, so as bad as I could take pictures and do certain things I want to do, but it was nice just being unplugged, man. It's something you can't do unless something like that happens, because you rely so much on your phone for information. I mean,
Now, one thing about me, when I used to, on a few rare times, we would be able to go on vacation and hang out with family. I'm one of those where I could totally just detach. Like I don't want it. I don't want text messages. I don't want nothing. I'm not getting a Police Gazette newsletter. I'm not getting
Yeah,
emails to my phone. I ain't getting any of that shit. But I still was in hyper vigilant mode. So even
yeah,
though I wasn't thinking about cases and things like that or something that I just seen, I was still. It would take me a few days to bring myself down, and then by the time I'm down to where I need to be, it's time for me to go back to work. So,
absolutely.
um, and the stuff that I would do to decompress was also stuff that was kind of isolating, like video games, being on my phone. There's no interaction with anybody, like with my family and stuff like that. So it really wasn't doing me any good when I would like be on vacation, stuff like that. Like my wife had to tell me a few times, like, get out of your phone. Like even some of her family's like, Blue is always in his phone. But it wasn't that I was in my phone, doing stuff I ain't want to be doing. But like I like my mind always has to like my wife would tell you, like you'll look at my search and it'll be like, um, why did Eddie Murphy star in Beverly Hills Cop 1? Like I'm just like always my mind has to always be absorbing something or finding out something, because if not, then I'm thinking of, man, I had to arrest a 15-year-old prostitute the other day. Man, a pedophile
Yeah,
ran out the back door and escaped me. You just be thinking about stuff, and you trying to get rid of it, but you're not realize. I wasn't realizing that I was also isolating everybody at the same time. So,
and that's what you tend to do is
hmm
because for us we're so stimulated. The way we relax a lot of times is just like leave me alone. And it took me it took me a while to find out what I need. Now, even now, I'm retired. I stay super busy doing you know doing my band stuff or doing whatever. But one of the best things I could do for my mental health is play a video game. Right? Get
hmm
a bag of chips, get a beer or Gatorade or whatever, and go upstairs, put the earphones on, and play a video game. And I'm just because it's mindless. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm thinking about trying to get the most kills or whatever in Battlefield. But which I hardly ever do. Uh, but you have to do something and just escape. I mean, and then your wife, girlfriend, what are you up here playing stupid video game for? And that's I wish I could do it more. Maybe
yeah.
once a week for a couple of hours I can play. But when I do, that relaxes me the most, and I'm usually super chill afterwards. And because you just something like you said, you get into something, you start thinking. I'm the same way. Hey, I'm watching a movie. Hey, what else is this guy playing, or how does he? And I start going, go to the phone and trying to Google the facts and stuff. And then it looks, oh, what's he on his phone for? Get off your phone. I'm like, I'm just messing. You can still talk to me.
Yeah.
I can multitask.
Yeah.
Like
But for
I can
some
still
reason they
talk to you.
need you to like stare at them, like like I can hear you, like
I mean,
I'm not
I could
deaf
play on the
as I'm.
I could play on the take the phone, talk to you, eat a bag of chips, drink a beer, and watch TV and be fine. I could. So that's just how I am. But
So what?
did
Go
I
ahead.
saw you went somewhere
Where did I go?
like 2 weeks ago.
I didn't go. Did I go somewhere? Where did I go?
I saw some Facebook photos.
Wife, if you're in here, where did I go? I don't even remember. See, that's my bad memory. I don't remember. I don't remember. Where did I go? Somebody help me out. Where did I go? I
You went
don't
on
even remember
vacation
where I
recently.
go.
What's your last vacation you
I
went to?
I don't remember. Oh crap. I don't remember. I legit.
That
Are you talking about Great Wolf Lodge?
was it. That
Did
was
I
it.
go to the
Yeah.
beach? Did I go to the beach? I don't know. Gene, did I? I don't. Oh crap. I don't know. Um, I probably did go somewhere. And see, that's the thing. You supposed to remember your damn vacations, and I don't even remember. And I don't think we went to Greenville. Oh, we went. Oh, Yeah, we went to my wife's. We went to like a barbecue or something. Like all her brothers were together for the first time in like 15 years, where like they were like in one place. Because every time when there was something going on, one would have something going on, and the other had something going on, and they haven't been in the same place. So they were all in the same place, and their dad was like grinning from like ear to ear. He was so excited. Yeah, and that's some of the stuff that I would miss out on, because like my wife would have like a barbecue or something, or they'll want her to be about. And if you know anything about my wife, she hates like leaving me if I have to work, because if something happens, she wants to be here, and
Yeah.
she will be like,
It,
"No, I can't go because Blue is working," and I will feel bad because I don't want her family thinking I'm telling her she can't go nowhere. I'm like, "Honey, you can go," and she wouldn't go.
well, especially so that was a great point. I think you brought that up before. Is because I wonder if that had anything to do with her getting a call you were in a shooting or your wreck when you got knocked, when you were got
Mm-hmm.
knocked unconscious, and then psychologically they're like, hey, I have to sleep with the phone beside me and be prepared for something to happen, because it's not for a lot of the spouses, it's or significant others, it's not if it happens, it's when it's going to happen, and especially if something's happened, it's okay. When is it going to happen again? And so that psychologically, that has an effect on not only your significant other but your kids. I mean, so if something happens to you, like when I was in my shooting, uh, I had somebody from CDCP come and speak to Cody because he was home, and you know, I don't know what Ann told him, but he was old enough to know, what 4 years, 5 years ago that was in a shooting. So how does it affect your kids? Uh, but that's something you have to take into consideration. But you you have to take care of your people, and there's so not only what we do, but there's so much stuff where uh, their people can't take time off, and that's bad for organization. I don't care if you're in corporate America, if you're in public safety, you have to give your people a way to decompress, and they come back fresher. It's like, what do they do to kindergartens? They let them take a nap, right after usually right after lunch. I remember I had that multicolored mat. I'd roll that out. I look forward to it, man. I'd roll it out, take a nap, try to lay beside one of my booze, and kindergarten, and then but then you wake up and you're good to go. I mean, but that's the same thing. Your mind needs time to shut down. There's no threats. There's nothing to think about, and reset and unstimulate, destimulate, whatever the correct verb would be. But
Unstimulate.
unstimulate, destimulate.
That's what you do at night with your significant other. You unstimulate. But
I need some unstimulating.
but the weird thing about it is like, like it got to the point where like I would legit come home and my wife will wake up and then she'll see ER printout on a dresser and be like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Oh, I fell, sprained my ankle. They want me to stay off it for a few days." And she'll be like, "Why didn't you call me?" Like it got to the point I would legitimately go to the ER on duty for because something happened, and I wouldn't tell her. I'll just come home and just put the ER slip, and she'll see the crutches, and she'll see the ace bandages, and she'll be like, "What the hell happened?" I'll be like, "Oh, I got into a fight and twisted, whatever, blah blah blah." And she'll be like, "You didn't tell me." I was like, "If I was to call and tell you about every little thing, you were already on high alert. So I can't have you trying to pack up all the kids and come see me because I got a sprained ankle." So it's so crazy how the decisions you have to make, not only for your own mental health, but the others around you. Like, that's the thing that's lost in all this. Like, your family also goes through mental health issues based off of what you're going through. Like, when I told my son that I was retiring, like, he cried. Like, he started crying. And I was like, "Why are you crying?" He was like, because I get to spend more time with you now. You know, that affected him. Like, and I never stopped really to ask, like, hey, you think you're super cool being a cop, and your kids know that their dad is a cop, but it's other stuff that goes along with it,
Yeah, it's being a father is a full-time job, or a mother, and you put the stress on your body from that job, mentally and physically, and then along with social stresses at home. And then sometimes you overreact or underreact to issues there, because sometimes your kid comes to you, or your wife, and gives you a problem, and you're like, really? That's your fucking problem? The problems I've been dealing with, that's nothing. I don't give a shit. Fix it. Don't come with me with that. You're making life and death situation. Which door do we kick in? Where do we where do we you making these, do I shoot, do I don't shoot? But what does that do? That kind of alienates yourself from your family. So, and then sometimes you overreact because something happens, and you tend to overreact. You gotta find that happy medium. Median.
Median.
Again.
You're using all these words. Okay. What have you been reading? I'm trying to sound like what? Listen. No. Just be set.
Is that mound talk? That mound talk.
Yeah. Just be like, I'm just trying to find a happy fucking balance. Like that's.
Well, I
would
say medium. Like then I was like, do you? Because people would always get it wrong. Do you drive over the medium, or is it median?
It's median.
Or is it curb or curve? Do you do over the curve or curb?
Curb.
Apples, oranges.
Apples, oranges. There. But tomatoes. Also you like think about things where you're trying to get things situated, and it's like it gets weird because you're trying to figure out like what it is that you want to necessarily do, and you can't figure it out, and you're like, okay, I go talk to somebody, figure that part out, and then you're stuck because you're trying to absolutely get things situated and get things better taken care of, but you don't know how to do it. So it's like, what is it that you're going to do?
And I could give you another example. And if you see me, for the audience, for the 2 or 3 people we have watching, I'm on my phone, so I'm trying to look at the comments and stuff. 11
people watching.
That's cool. We just wait. So, but I was gonna tell you something. Oh yeah. So another issue that I tended to have, and I still do, is I don't want to make little decisions. Like if it's, I'll go to a food, go get food, and I either somebody gets something that sounds good, so I'll get that, or I'll ask the waitress, waiter, hey, what would you get? What's your favorite? Or what's a good beer? Give me, because
I don't eat here.
Yeah.
You ever had a waitress tell you, well, I don't eat here? I'm like, what?
Like, shall I eat?
Then why should I eat?
But you make so many, so many critical decisions throughout the day, where I don't know if it's like an overload, but then the simple, you're off. I don't want to make a decision, especially as a supervisor over, a street crimes unit who's constantly getting into stuff, making extreme decisions, not only that affect me, but my guys and the department and everything else. And you go from that to, do you want mustard or mayonnaise? I don't know. Just give me something, because
that makes so much fucking sense, yo.
I feel like I you just can't do it. I'm just fatigued out. And I don't know if that has to do with PTSD or because I used to not be that way, but now it's just like, I don't know. Just
it absolutely does. Like some of me and my wife's most knocked out, dragged out arguments are over where we're gonna eat. Like she'll be like, where do you want to go? What do you want to eat? I'll be like, what do you want? She'll be like, it doesn't matter to me. I'll be like, all right, I want Applebee's. Well, I really don't want that. You just asked me to decide where we were going to eat, and you said it doesn't matter. Then when I picked the damn place, it matters. So which
Yeah.
one is? Don't ask me. Like I'll be like going up. She's like, I don't understand why it's so hard for you to just pick a place where you want to eat. And I'll be like, because every single day I'm deciding whether somebody should live or die, go to jail, not go to jail, me do this, me do that. So the last thing I want to pick out is where we going to eat. I don't care where we go, blah, blah. And it's like the little decisions or the little simple things, like you find it's harder to do. It's harder to just, hey, man, do I want to get out of bed? Yes or no? Do I want to eat right now? Yes or no? It's like you're like in your own head, and it's crazy.
Yeah, no. And then there's other times on the you go from one extreme to the next. There's other times where I'm making the decision. We're not going to go to that location because they have a high concentration of robberies, or so we put things in perspective. If my kid wants to go to Walmart, I'm like, well, no, they got a high, robbery. I don't know, whatever. But I'm just using that, but whatever, because what happens at those places. You don't want them to go, and they think you're trying to just be a douche, or they want to do something. I used to get just stressed out when my kid, even when he was like 14, 15, to ride his bike out of the neighborhood down the main road to go to the park, because I've seen a lot of people run over and killed on bicycles. And then so when he wants to,
You can't relax.
yeah, you can.
You can't
Shit, and
relax.
that gives you that anxiety because you know what could happen with him going to the park on his bicycle. You've seen it happen, even though. But if it's just hard. It's hard to know what could happen, and so I tell people all the time, I wish I lived in a bubble. I wish that I could do certain things and not think of the consequences, or the not really but the risk. I mean, just think everything we do is risk assessment, right? Through our job. Do we go in the building? Do we not go? Your fire department. Do it's all the same. Medic. Do we wait for the police to secure the scene, or do we go in? So everything you're doing is risk assessment, and then then you get at home, and then okay, well, do I go to the mailbox? It's lightning. I've seen people get hit by lightning and die. So it's like shit, but it's bad. But you get that thing. It's like you see that it's almost the point where you see risk and danger in everything, but you can't let that take you over to not living your life. And you have to be reasonable about it. And it's the point where I actually told my counselor one time, I felt like a cat. I've got this cat that I hate 95% of the time. That long story, but we just ended up with, we're not cat people. Somebody gave us a cat, so we can't get rid of it. If you want a cat, you could have it.
No.
But it's scared of everything. Like I'll feed the dog, the cat. I'll feed the cat and go to pet it, and it's scared. It runs off. It's scared of me. It's for the first 3 months. We've had it about a year now. It lived under the bed. I never even saw. I forgot we had it. And then, but it's scared of everything. It's scared of my Labradoodle, who's scared to death of it. And it's we're going on a year now, and the Labradoodle never done anything aggressive, but she still hisses at the Labradoodle, swats at her with her clawless paws. And the dog kind of looks at us like, why is she doing that? But that might be an extreme case, but in my mind, I was like, shit, I almost feel like that cat, where I'm seeing danger in everything, and realistically, there's none there. You have to.
I mean, it's
Well,
like that
not
because
say
like
none's there, but you have to.
yeah, but it's understandable. Like if you look at the symptoms and the effects of PTSD, that's the main thing. Hypervigilance, constantly in past moments. At a whim's notice, you're always comparing today to yesterday and combining that and trying to make an assessment of what could but may not happen in the future.
Yeah.
So it's like crazy. Like last night, somebody tweeted out, "Man, my goddamn neighbor is vacuuming the floor at 10 o'clock at night. What the hell?" And me, I tweeted, he may have killed somebody. He getting rid of the DNA in the carpet. Like I, like, seriously,
Yeah.
like, come on, man. Like, he probably some people just vacuum late at night and don't give a shit who's underneath them. But me, my cynical, demented ass mind is like, oh yeah, he definitely get rid of DNA in that carpet. And it's
Yeah.
like I was joking, but I was like, I mean, I've seen it.
Or yeah, if it's a emergency service worker, that what people don't realize too is if it's 10 o'clock, that might be that person's 9 a.m. or
Right.
11, lunchtime. They're getting stuff done. Uh, I know that at one point, years ago when I was married, my wife would,
When you were married?
well, yeah, I'm just saying I'm saying it wasn't before I was married. When I was married, so so but basically, after I got married, I'd work rotating shifts, and I'd be tired, and don't want to name her name, but my wife would come home and be like, "Hey, it's 9 a.m. and open the blinds. It's time to get up." And I'm like, "Shit, I just went to bed 3 hours ago." But in her mind, it's daytime. It's time to get moving, and because and it was hard for the significant others sometimes to get used to. Why is he sleeping all day? They don't understand. They know that, yeah, you worked all night, but why is he sleeping all day? And it just causes that disconnect. It sucks working over the third shift, man. I mean, your body's not made to stay up all night.
I loved it though. I consider myself like a very out of shape black Batman. Like I work at night,
Some people, some people, some
I
people
loved it. I loved it.
want to do it. That's
Loved it. I requested it the moment I love. They was like, you can either get third shift or second shift. Nobody's getting first shift as a rookie. I was like, I don't want that shit anyway. Give me third. Like I love third shift. Love it. Let's read this comment right here from your lovely wife. She said, and for spouses, or at least me, his job and experiences totally warped my view of people and places as well. And I would chime in about things to friends and coworkers, and they would look at me and what I was saying like I was crazy. And that's how it is because our spouses experience something that nobody else see. Like, let's say for instance, I tell my wife always have your keys prepared in your hand. Back in the day, you would say, "Hey, make sure your long, hardest, most metal key, make sure it's in between your index and your middle finger." Why? Because if somebody comes behind you, I want you to jam it right in their damn eye. That's stuff like you would say to your spouse and stuff like that.
and
And then
it's not,
outside people would be like, why are you telling her that? Be like, because I've seen it.
what's wrong with these? What's wrong with these guys? This guy shouldn't be a cop. He's paranoid. It's like I'll tell my wife that, hey, when we went somewhere and I had my gun on me, I'm like, hey, if we, if somebody comes up to rob us, act like you have a heart attack and fall down and shoot them in the face. And I mean, that it distracts them enough for me. But if you tell if you just tell somebody normal, like, what's wrong with this crazy lunatic? And then so it's also important for people to realize, one thing you don't want to ask a cop or fireman or medic is, what's the worst? I don't know why that's the thing, but what's the worst thing you ever seen? Really? Do you really
You want
want
to
to
know?
know?
You really want to know?
But what does that do? It makes you like something that you followed back for years, multiple. It makes you automatically think about it, and it's kind of a trigger. But that happens a lot when you tell people, yeah, I'm a cop, or I'm a retired cop, or I'm a medic on fire, or whatever. They're, oh, well, what's the worst thing you've seen? And like that one is, I mean, that's like asking a soldier, that's been in combat, the same thing. You don't do it. You don't want to bring back those memories to that person.
It's like Insects in the woods in Florida taking a pee pee. Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Mosquitoes like pee
Look,
pee in Florida.
no. This is not a lie. My son, I swear to God, we went to the same spot today. Swear to God, we went to the same spot. I got out, wasn't thinking. I stood up. We rented a Jeep Wrangler. So I'm standing up on the Jeep. I'm looking. I'm like, nobody's around. I'm going to pee. I'm like 12 years old. So I'm standing up peeing off his Jeep Wrangler. And what happens is I get totally just all over my body with those mosquitoes. Kid, come here, son. Just so
I
you,
heard
just,
Coach laugh.
just so you don't think I'm making this up. How many? I was outside of the car for
like 20 seconds.
20. And how many mosquitoes were on me?
Like 13.
13. Probably, I don't know, that's a random number, but there was a lot. And how big were they? Were
Why
they
do you
huge? They were,
keep exposing your manhood to Florida insects?
and so
Why?
I'm yelling, smack, and they're coming out of my shirt, and they're in my pants from where I had my pants down. But I was like, this is awesome because it just got through lightning and nobody's around me. I'm just gonna stand up on the Jeep and pee. I was trying to find an alligator.
Who does that? Who does that? Who?
I don't know.
Now, what if
it'd be
it's
cool.
some weird Everglades lady, meth head, with her binoculars like, oh, it's a show out here today. Look at this bald head white man with his pee out, honey. Look at this.
They won't need to be magnified that much. No, I'm just saying.
Oh my God!
But we're talking about the hyper village. So like I could tell you, like Cody and I we did a ghost tour last night, and we were with I think another group. They're 21 to I don't know 40 or something. But so I'm watching them and they're talking, and I noticed one of the dudes, he had a beard, and he had I could tell he kept giving signs that he had a little bulge in his pants. So I'm like, this guy's got a gun.
Wait a minute, where's the story going? What kind of bulge? Like, what are we? What?
I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, he's got a bulge in his waist. He didn't look like a cop because of the beard, but he's got a hat that says something, gun range or his gun. I'm like, well, maybe he's one of those just gun guys carrying a gun. Well, the other dude is with him. He didn't look like a cop. They look like kind of GQ metrosexual 30-year-olds. And he pulls, looking for ghosts or whatever, he pulls out a light. Well, he pulls it out with his weekend. Who pulls out flashlights with their weekend? Weekend is the one well, cops, because but most people when they pick something up, they pick a light, they hold it with their strong hand. Well, cops leave their weekend free. I'm sorry, their strong hand free for their gun.
Hand free.
Hand on the gun, weekend the flashlight. And then the girl was with them. She had like one of those high dollar like pocket knives in the back pocket. And she had a Surefire. And she's pulling out her Surefire. She was all tatted up and stuff. But so they on the outside, they didn't look like cops. Like I and even you would tell somebody we're cops. They go, I can see it without your beard. These guys look like cops. They're squared away, but they look like they were too smart to be cops to begin with. But I'm like, hey, what kind of work do you guys do? And they're like, yeah, we're LEOs or previous LEOs or whatever. But they were a group of cops. But you're telling that and going back to your stories, of course, I didn't see these guys as threats or anything. I wouldn't. But you pick up on stuff that nonverbal cues that we use to read people. And so when we're in a crowd of people, a lot of times what we're doing, we might seem like we're being antisocial or just reserved, but what we're doing, we're reading these people. It's a threat. It's not a threat. What is this? So you're scanning.
Where the exits? Everything.
So you're processing this stuff, and you're having a conversation or threat assessment in your mind, and so people are like, well, Blue's not being very social. Well, just give it a second. Let me figure all this shit out, and then we'll go from there. But I know that a lot of times when you meet somebody, they seem like That's why some cops that aren't pricks, that might come across as antisocial and assholes because they're being quiet, but they're not being quiet because they're assholes. Hopefully, they're being quiet. They might be doing that assessment.
That's it, man. I will say, when you get a chance, have you ever done an escape room? You and Cody?
No, I want to. That's on our list.
That's if you wanna be humble, if you think your 20-something years of police experience gonna get you out of an escape room, good luck. Me and my wife
what's bad
was arguing, and I sat there for the last, we were in there for 30 minutes. I sat the last 25 minutes just waiting for the timer to go off. I was so annoyed.
Oh, really?
I was like, I'm a great
Well,
crime solver, god damn it. Why can't I get out of
well,
here? I was so mad, yo.
it'd probably be, one of those things like, oh, you got a little bit of ego, man. I could do this. Who done it? How to get out? And then
I was
and then
so
you feel like a
mad, yo.
dumbass. You can't get in, get out,
I
get
was
in,
so
get out. Whatever you're
mad. We
supposed to
kept
do.
calling for hints. I was so mad, man. I was so mad. First of all, we were supposed to do it with another group, but they didn't show up. So we was all stuck and everything. So I
I
don't
got
know.
another
So
vehicle.
how long?
I'm picking up.
Wait.
Flying back tomorrow. I'm picking up. I've got a Defender Trophy Edition. I'm picking up hopefully Friday, and then I'm gonna play with that and try to flip it. Make a little figured.
Must be nice, man. I ain't picking up and flipping anything but my wife. But man, tell everybody where you tell everybody where they gonna find you, man.
Damn it. I have this written down at home. No, what am I? I need to make all three of them the same. I'm on
You know,
Jonathan Steppe
yeah.
on Facebook. I'm Tog 2223 on or 4280. I forget. I don't know. But anyway, we'll list it. Big thing is we do have a Facebook now. Haven't been able to update it, so go there, and then we have links to our social media.
Yes, find us on Black and Blue Lives on Instagram. Find us on Black and Blue Lives page on Facebook. We also have a link tree. We will have a website pretty soon. We just gotta purchase the damn package. We will be
And
a
I think I did
.com, .net, whatever that bullshit is. We're gonna be that too. Listen, we're not super tech
and
savvy.
I'm
We're doing
starting
this
this.
shit on the fly, yo.
I've got so I think I did a group in a page for us for Black and Blues Lives. Black and Blue Lives.
Watch it. I did a black ass page for somebody. Like what? Like what? Nah, man. It's all good,
And
man. But
somebody
as
said
soon as we
we're
get the
doing
website going, we'll be good.
OnlyFans. OnlyFans is next. We're doing
No,
that way we got all
you doing an OnlyFans page, Mr. Mosquito Bite. I ain't doing that shit. So thank you everybody for listening, for joining us. Step, as always, brother, it feels good to talk to you once again. Be safe, enjoy the rest of your time. Like I said, we're gonna do the website. We just gotta finish it or whatever, but that'll be coming soon. Thank everybody for joining us. We will have t-shirts pretty soon. Hoping that helps too. Every little bit helps because this stuff, we do this out of the kindness of our heart, but we also, more than anything, like, we don't, the royalties are shit. More than anything, we just love the fact that somebody will actually wear some merchandise that's representing our show and representing what we stand for. That's what we care about. We want the listeners. We don't want your money, anything like that. We want the listeners, we want the exposure, we want to reach as many people as possible, and we can't do that without your help. So please remember, like, share this video, make sure you always subscribe to the podcast always, and make sure you check on somebody. Ask one person, are they okay? Make sure you always do that.
If you didn't see the whole show, we'll post it on our Facebook and Instagram, or at least one of the two, Facebook, over the next few hours, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
So
right.
if you missed it,
So
send it, like our page, like it, and then send it to your friends.
that's right. And we are, as always, we are out of here. See y'all.